Well, Cam, way to ruin the trend here.
Hey, you know what? I didn't get the memo.
I wish I had 2 shirts.
Yeah.
You're here, so you got something.
4 out of 5 are wearing plaid.
Nobody said anything about plaid.
They've gone the plaid.
Nobody
Well,
knew.
it was all just us knowing.
I don't even think I own plaid right now.
Ludicrous speed.
Okay, I got to share this just because you said that. The other day, I was singing a song as I got into the car, and Jess was like, "Man, that is an old song." It's really not. It's from when we were in high school.
Oh, man.
And anyway,
Oh, no.
and so we were sitting there, and there's just like a brief moment of silence, and Jess goes, "Chris should be a looter for Halloween." I'm like, "A looter?" And she's like, "Yeah. Then he could be Looter Chris."
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that is a dad joke, babe.
That's a good one.
That is
That's
a
worse
dad
than a
joke.
dad joke. That's a mom joke.
Yeah, that's true. There's oh my gosh. Anyway, the song that I was singing was Ludicrous, so that sparked the idea. Anyway, welcome back to Five's a Crowd. It's been 3 weeks. 3 since we've posted, but 6 weeks since we have all sat down around this table to hang out, have fun.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
I
we
missed
Has it been that
all
long?
of you. Dude, it's been a long time.
been a while.
A long time.
They got hit with COVID. We got hit with COVID.
I got hit with
Don't
COVID.
throw me in the COVID.
Your wife got hit with COVID.
Yeah, that's my wife, not me.
Okay, they.
You still have to quarantine.
No, I didn't.
Well, you were supposed to.
Well,
You should have
Anyway.
been there to take care of your wife.
my work told me to come to work. So I said, okay.
Oh, great.
Oh, great.
It's like, you know Kara? Now imagine sick Kara. Yeah, I'd go to work too.
Started off with a good old Carabur.
Didn't even skip a beat.
You thought we'd be rusty coming back, but we're back.
Couldn't help myself.
You know?
Wow.
But during our break, I mean, we didn't post for 3 weeks, like I said, and all of our supporters stayed strong. So I wanted to give a special shout out to all of our members. Esther Hall, Cecily Christensen. Those two also support us on some of our other channels. They
yeah.
are BAs. Thank you so much for your support. Bad Grandma, Sasha, Betty Moss, Maxine Howlett, Melanie Berg, Big Man, Rada Artist. I hope I'm saying that last name or first name right. Rada. Anyway, Dorothy Riley, Jeremy Lemon, Peter LeBeau, Carol Ann Mitchell, Shauna, Isn't She Strange, Janet Harding, and Lindsay Taylor. Thank you so much for supporting us monetarily on this channel.
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
We are going to be we're going to be recording another Ask Men tonight, and your monetary support means the world to us because we can't do weird things
one.
like that.
Already out the window. We haven't even started it.
Yeah, instant
They
demonetized.
just see the title.
They're like, no, this one's
this
not
one's gone.
worthy. So if we make you laugh, we make you smile, hit that subscribe, share us with your friends at the very least. And if you love us, go ahead and hit that membership button. Hit join us. We'd really appreciate
Even
it.
if you kind of like us.
Yeah.
We don't have to use the L word. Like
just
Like starts with an L.
Strong, like.
yeah.
the big L.
If you tolerate us, if you just tolerate us, go ahead and hit that button.
But I thought it'd be great if we all just kind of caught up. Like I said, it's been 6 weeks.
Do you guys remember? I can't ask you if you
he
remember
can't
because I just
remember.
forgot. Whose line
remember
is it
every
anyway?
once in a while,
Remember
yeah.
whose line
Yeah.
is it anyway?
Whose line
Yeah, of course.
Remember how they would read the credits sometimes? We should do that with the names next time.
Dude, you're gonna have to spell that one out for me. I don't think I've ever seen
At
it.
the end, where they read the credits off.
I've never seen that.
What?
They have to do it in a certain way.
Like
You've
pick an
never seen
accent
Whose
or
Line Is It
something.
Anyway?
I have, but
They-
I've just never seen what you guys are
They,
talking
they
about.
always say they're like read the credits like you're this or like it's this type of movie or something. Like they give it some sort of theme and
So
it
it's
just
like-
gets really fun.
Yeah.
So like Bruce Willis in Alice in Wonderland, like a character and a plot, and then you have to
Something
read
like
it like
that.
them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
that's
have
far
to-
left, but yeah, we could go there. That's left field.
I'll have to
It's
watch
like Christopher
them again.
Walken reading the credits.
Okay.
And so they just
Cool.
Yeah.
So not as complex as I just made it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Got
that was deep.
I mean, that's
All right, I
cool. I,
tried.
want to see that now.
I mean, it would be interesting to try.
Bruce Willis and
Where would
Alice
you
in
go
Wonderland?
with that? That'd be a hard one.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, your idea. You start.
I like it. Hey, speaking of Bruce Willis, I've noticed he's in a lot of random, like, not great
Like
movies.
B-rated stuff. Yeah.
Is
But he plays
is
the same
stuck?
character.
Is he stuck
Did
in
he
that
get
Nicolas
canceled?
Cage like
Hey,
like drain? You know what I mean? Like Nicolas Cage. I heard once upon a time he's broke, so he just has to pick up every movie.
you know what? No joke. That happened to Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Like back in the day, that's why he was literally in everything because he just would take anything he could get.
I'm glad he's kind of calmed down.
So I was tired of those mother effing snakes on
On
those
the-
mother.
Yeah. On these mother effing planes.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. Though.
Yeah, like-
But it worked for him. I mean, now,
did it?
You know, the one
It
thing
was
with
Nick
the-
Fury.
The one thing, the joke
In the
about
end.
that or whatever that pissed me off completely was on Ted 2, where her name is Sam Jackson, and they're like Sam L. Jackson, and she's like, yeah, I don't know who that is, and they're like, have you seen movies? Yeah, well, he's the black guy.
Every single movie.
It's either him or who's the other guy with
Denzel
kind of the
Washington.
wonky eye?
Denzel
oh,
Washington.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker.
But what made me mad about that is later in the movie, they have one of the lawyers shows up and it's a black guy, but it's not Samuel L. Jackson. It ended up being
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman,
I feel like that would have cost them more.
right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I thought it would have been hilarious if they had Samuel L. Jackson come in and
You
do
know-
it.
Morgan Freeman.
I know that Morgan Freeman's going to retire just doing like narrations for
Oh, yeah.
nature videos.
I read a
He's the new Animal Planet guy.
yeah, definitely. I read a funny Reddit that was something about like off things about TV shows or like what's a funny joke that isn't really like the main joke, but it's a joke in a show. And one of them is, I think it's in How I Met Your Mother, how they're like obsessed with Bruce Willis. And then he comes in to then date like Bruce Willis actually.
It's Friends.
Oh, it's Friends.
Yes,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So-
obsessed with Die Hard.
Yeah, they're obsessed with Die Hard, and then all of a sudden Bruce Willis comes in and starts dating one of the friends, and they don't make any mention of it.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, like, that's a hilarious joke that, like, you'd have to really pay attention for,
Uh-huh.
because otherwise he's just a character coming in to date someone.
It's true.
Anyway, I thought that was kind of fun.
Inside joke.
Yeah,
I always remember the one where they make the list. Like Ross has his list of who he's allowed to, like famous people he's allowed to sleep with.
yeah.
And he has to remove one person, and he does, and it ends up being the person he meets.
Yeah, the next person like walks
Yeah.
into the coffee
He's
shop
like,
is that girl.
you know, you were on my list, and she's like, oh, can I see? And he's like, well, no.
And he's like, I had to bump you for someone locally because you're globally.
And he was about to
If
land
anyone's
her.
gonna quote it, it's gonna be you, because you've seen it like 20 times. That's
I
hilarious.
literally have. That's a sad thing. Well, it's not sad.
Because
but-
we're on the topic of movies and shows, though. Was it Robert De Niro? Who's the guy that shot?
Alec Baldwin.
Alec
Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin shot a guy on accident.
Yeah.
His prop gun was filled with live ammunition, and
Which,
did they say it happened twice?
like, how?
No, so he had shot and it went through. It hit one and then went through them and got the other person.
but only one died.
Yeah, but only one had died.
They legit died.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was. It hit the.
Oh, yeah.
It hit the director and was it the
Like
director?
it was like the cinematographer
Yeah,
was
the
the one that
the
died, and then
cinematographer
the
died.
director caught like the glance of it.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
But I just heard today on that the like manager of lighting on the set wants to sue everybody, including Alec Baldwin. Like he wants to sue everybody for like, I don't know if negligence would be the word, but basically like for not taking care. And so he wants to sue. It's like
The lighting guy?
Yeah, the lighting guy.
Money
And-
grab.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
legit, how is there live ammunition in a gun?
Well, that's some of the comments
On a
were
movie set.
Some of the comments were like, didn't we learn from Brandon Lee? Because I think we talked about it in a previous episode, the movie The Crow.
but that wasn't even a live.
That wasn't even
round.
live
That was
ammunition.
a,
that was just 100%.
that was just like a
chunk
malfunction.
got stuck in it. Yeah.
So,
But still, I don't know.
from what I heard, so there's a range master that they have to go practice gun safety at a range. And so they take the guns and practice and show them how to use them safely. But the
Got you.
range master didn't clear the gun when it was
Shoot.
brought back on set.
He's not much of a master, then, is he?
Well,
Jeez.
they said that they were wearing many hats because of a budget thing, and so they were doing too many jobs, and to where that should have been their main focus, and they had other things doing
that
too.
sucks.
Yeah.
Such a like you shouldn't even use the same
negligence.
guns for both.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you should go to the range. The range will have a locker. You use those guns at the range. You put them back in the locker after they're cleared. You go out. You're using completely different props.
Because, I mean, it's not like you can't have two of the same exact model of gun. It's like your prop gun's going to shoot pretty much exactly like the one you just shot on the range, but it's two totally different guns. Like,
That's crazy.
that's-
Huh.
When I did see Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you know,
right.
you know
Wow.
him.
That was a sultry moment.
He came out. I think it was on Instagram. I saw it, but he basically vowed that his production company and movies that he's gonna make, and I don't know if everyone he's gonna star in, but everyone he's gonna be making, they will no longer ever use real guns. Like he said, they're gonna use fake rubber guns for like fight scenes, and then anything else will be CGI'd in.
Who's his production company?
remember the name.
Seven. Oh my goodness. Wow, this is
And
making me
Dwayne
sad.
was almost going to.
And here's Rex. Like, here, answer this one question for me.
He just
What's
got
the
bumped
name
off.
of my movie company? And I will give you my truck.
No, $7 production.
Oh, there you go.
You want to know why it's called that?
Yes, I
He
know.
only
Because
had
you started
$7 to his name.
and then it became famous.
We know all about it.
Do we talk about him that much?
We had an entire
Wow.
episode about him.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
And he's everywhere. I mean, you saw him rap.
He
That
rapped.
was so awesome. Oh my goodness.
We legit made fun of it watching it.
No, that was
I
like
didn't
the
know
coolest
Maui
thing
had
in the
it in him.
world.
All I could think of was replacing him with a CGI Maui.
Yes.
I'm going to have to watch this. I've never
You haven't
seen it.
seen it? Think
Yeah,
of
him
The
and,
Rock. Now think of him trying to rap. It's just like that.
A lot of flexing.
Pure greatness.
It's literally like, here's the thing. Here's the
Gold.
thing. I mean, I jest out of, pure envy because the man does everything.
Yeah.
But he literally has like Tech Nine and all these other really good rappers who are like super fast, like beautiful,
Tech
right?
Nine
For
is
the first
amazing.
for the first like 5 minutes of his 5.5 minute video is all these really, really tenured and good rappers. And then he comes in the last 30 seconds and just does his rock thing like he would.
It's more like Maui.
Straight
It's
up.
Maui. Maui a little bit pissed off
Maui cussing.
and a little bit faster.
Okay.
Yes,
And then he
drops
pulls
the
out some
MF.
Terramana.
Is it
Yeah.
a legitimate video?
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
all
it's
a
a
big
ter-
old pitch for his tequila.
He's like,
They're
thank you,
three-
Terramana. And I'm like, what did it do?
Thanks, Terramana. And it's like, bro, you made Terramana. What are you thanking them for? I should be thanking myself. Thanks, Rock.
Terramana didn't make you the money for this video. You had that money already.
Gosh.
That's funny.
On a positive note, did you see Keanu Reeves gave his entire stunt team new Rolexes?
Oh, yeah. And they're
Everyone-
like engraved.
Yeah.
For John
everyone-
Wick or
I think it might be
Yeah.
for The Matrix.
Oh,
4?
maybe.
Yeah, because I think John Wick's been filmed for a while.
I don't know.
I just saw something
you
just
know-
barely about it.
Speaking of that, I saw that on the first Matrix, Keanu Reeves bought the entire stunt team something.
He gave them
does-
some of his salary because he said they were underpaid.
Is that what it was?
I love that man.
He truly, I've seen some things on him, like acting wise, not so much, but as a person, he is seriously like top
Such a
of
stud.
notch.
He's a
No.
gold-hearted guy.
My
Even
dad's-
as an actor, because you look at how chill he is and how like he acts in some of his movies. You're like, I mean, he's got skill. Because outside of it, he's just like,
Right?
I'm Keanu Reeves. Yeah.
He does play the same role.
What's funny,
like the
does.
same
you
style.
know, my
role.
dad got to meet him.
Nice.
Yes.
And
He was filming I can't remember what he was filming. They were filming a movie here in Ogden. My dad got to do security for it. Actually got to meet him. Ever since then, my dad hates him.
what?
What?
Yep. My dad said he has, what's the phrase? He has like the intellectual thing of an ant or whatever it is. Like he says, trying to talk to him, he's like, I can't. I felt even more stupid as I walked away.
Like a stoner or something where
Yeah,
he's
I
just
don't know.
like,
My dad said he just is like, I can't. And he's like, every time I watch a movie of his, he's like, they're good. He loves John Wick and all that stuff. But he's like, but He's like, Keanu Reeves, he's an idiot.
You know, at the same time, I've always wondered because, like, I catch myself, my mind just running.
Yeah.
And same with like people like Elon Musk. Like, you could go up and you could meet him and you could get a terrible like interaction. And it might be just because, okay, this is my 1000th, fan of the day saying hi. And I'm thinking of like,
He's thinking
but this
days into the
was-
future.
Yeah,
like his brain's in
exactly.
the future.
This was just on set. Like they were just eating lunch
or
whatever.
Or maybe he's like
so-
rehearsing lines in his head, or he's thinking of a different thing that he could have been doing. Like, it's always hard for me to take that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is he 100% invested in that conversation?
Like, yeah. Or is he just like,
Like, I'll straight
But
up
then-
be delayed. Like, I'll hear you ask a question and my brain's processing something else, and it'll come in and I'll have it in there and I'll know the answer, and I'll like on a delay be like, oh yeah, totally.
Bullcrap.
But like, I know it's there. It just takes a minute.
Here's what you do. Whenever you say, oh, wait, what'd you say to me?
Not always, sometimes.
A lot of the time.
it comes in and it grabs one of those tickets from the ticket. Goes,
Please
stands
hold.
in
It's like
line.
the DMV.
100% that's your texting.
That is
Like
very
what?
true.
I know Cam is reading my text. 100%.
Yeah, and I answer it in my head. It's just I don't type it out and
I
then
do
hit
that,
send.
though. I'm guilty of that big time. I'll read it. I'll be like, okay, I got to answer it later. I'm right in the middle of something. I forget to write back.
But I
Answer it.
remember.
Too bad there's not a
eventually-
snooze button on texts.
There used to
right.
There is.
Is there?
Yeah.
be on some things.
On some things.
What?
Oh,
I'll show you later.
okay.
I think
showing
there was
all
on,
you guys
on
stuff
iPhone,
tonight.
but it's
Yeah.
if you haven't
Opened
answered
it.
it,
Yeah.
it'll eventually ding again to like
Oh.
remind you to look
Yes.
at it.
That I've seen before.
But no, I think if you could,
If you could open it, read it, and then say,
Resend it to
okay, I
yourself.
have to respond to this. So you,
can.
set like a...
You can. I will show you.
okay, fine.
What if you... Okay. Sometimes I'll write out a text and I forget to send it and I don't finish it. And so I think I sent the text, but I didn't send it.
It
I've
should
done
pop
that.
up
Is
in
there a
your
There's
reminder for
also
that.
a way that you can schedule your texts.
Why would you need to schedule it?
Yeah.
If he can't remember to just hit send, how's he
I'm
going to
living
remember to
in the-
schedule it?
I was
We're
gonna
living
say,
in the dark ages.
I've
I'm
done that
saying, like-
before where I've replied back to someone and I'm like, what the hell's their problem? Why aren't
Yeah,
they talking to
seriously.
me anymore? And I'll open up the text and be like, oh, I didn't send it. What the heck?
3 hours gone by.
Mine's 3 days.
I'll be texting people at 2 a.m, but then I can press and hold and schedule, and I'll schedule it for the next morning at 8, so I'm not a jerk in the middle of the night.
Oh, heck
being in
no.
their phone.
Dude, I can care less if you text me in the middle of the night. My phone's on do not disturb. I'm
You
not gonna
are
hear
the
it
Tony
anyway.
Stark.
I've seen the where it's like, do you want to schedule this text? And I look at that thinking like, why on earth I'm texting now? Like, I don't want to I don't know.
Nope.
I respect people's work hours. Okay, I work
No,
with
no,
a lot
no.
of other people.
No, I get that, but I've just never been in the situation
Yeah.
where I have to do that. It's like I'm in the middle of the conversation now. I don't want to send this later.
I'm not
But-
gonna lie. I've gotten texts from you guys at like 11:30, full conversations. That's why I've had to put my phone now on a scheduled silence.
I think Austin helped you with that.
Yes, he did. Because there's been full conversations that kept me and Kara up sometimes at night. Like my phone would ding, 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 and I'm like,
Bro, do not
what is
disturb's
going
been
on?
around for like 4 years.
I finally put it on. Anyways, there's times where it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would look through those and be like, I'm texting back now. I don't care if these guys are all
And we
asleep
were
right
on
now.
Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, I didn't do
It
anything.
didn't do anything
I've
for
been
me.
on Do Not Disturb for the last 4 years.
Kept me awake.
Bro,
I'd
when I
rather-
bought my watch, my phone went on silent permanently. That was like 6 years ago.
Nice.
That's why we don't get any responses.
Part of the reason.
Because he looks at
I was
his
gonna
watch
say,
and goes,
I like
"Ah."
to turn my phone on loud strictly just for the fun text messages sounds.
The
And
Yeah.
scream.
yeah.
Also, by the way, those watches were for the John Wick stunt crew.
Nice. Okay.
Awesome,
I would
awesome.
text messages. I'd rather talk to somebody on the phone and have a quick conversation
The
with them.
complete opposite.
I know you all are.
Yeah, we all are.
So
I'll be like, oh, I
Chris
can't
will
answer.
call me
You
and I'll
guys are
text him and be like, what's up?
you'll be like, hey buddy, or you'll answer. You'll be like, hey man, what's up?
I just have
Text me
Just
this.
quick.
I just have the worst time because anytime anyone tries calling me, I'm right in the middle of work or something, and I'm like, oh, I
Or
can't
pooping.
because that's a distraction. And I just text me, and I'll answer you in between my working.
See, I can talk while I'm working.
See, that's me. I can talk while I'm working.
Let's
I can't
be talk
text.
buddies on
All
the
right.
phone. We'll
Done.
just have conversations all day.
Let's do it.
All right.
See, here's the thing: is
Exhausting.
I hate that it takes up my hand.
Mine doesn't. I got an earbud.
I don't always have
Exactly.
mine in.
I do.
I have mine in
Well, then
all
learn.
the time.
Oh no! If I'm gonna make a call, I put them in.
Oh, it's all about
If
you.
I get called, I'm like,
I always have it in.
and all of a sudden, I for whatever reason need both my hands. Every time I answer the phone, I'm like, I need to do two-handed things now, and I have one.
Well, and the
put your
worst part
earbuds in.
is, we grew up in the era where phones were like wall phones, and they were thick enough to be comfortable rested between your shoulder and your ear. Now you got these 10 millimeter inch thick phones.
Full of muscle, dude.
You're
Causes
you're
scoliosis.
cramping trying to talk to someone.
No joke. I have cramped before.
See?
Do it,
I'm
you
like,
come out, and you're like,
gosh.
oh. The
You
rest
guys-
of the day, you can't straighten your
You
neck.
guys need earbuds. It changes your life.
One
I'm not on
question.
my phone enough.
One question. What is it about? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear, and this is going to sound racist, and it's not. It's just an observation.
Buckle up.
Oh dear.
Why is it, at least here in the state of Utah, it seems like all Mexicans like to talk on speakerphone no matter where they're at. They could be in the John,
In the body shop, man.
peeing in their urinal, walking through Walmart, and you're like, why? Why are you on speakerphone?
Because they assume people can't speak Spanish, and they're
No, they're speaking English.
I don't know.
and I'm
that.
like, what are you
They
doing?
just think everyone's family. They want you all in on it.
Want them all in
They
on
got
the
their phone
conversation?
turned around. Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
They do it in the body shops. At the body shop I go to, there's a lot of Hispanics. that are
The
hired,
best
and
is they
just
do.
are on-
They hold their phone upside down
Yeah.
and talk to the bottom of it. Like the bottom's up.
I don't know.
Why?
If
A lot of
I don't know.
The microphone. They
Oh, no,
think
I mean,
that
like,
that-
why are they even
I don't know,
speakerphoning
dude.
it?
A lot of
It's
my
gotta be
accounts
cultural.
do that.
Why?
A lot of my accounts.
they
and they're-
Hispanic
Well,
too?
they're
Are they-
some are Hispanic, some are Indian.
It's got to be a
it's
cultural,
thing.
I think.
Like another observation I've had is that, and this comes from years of working in a mall, basically. But Sundays in Utah, at least in Sundays, there are a lot of Mexican clientele or Hispanic clientele. Like like it's noticeable every Sunday because that's the day that I legit use my Spanish like almost all day.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That might be a Utah thing, though.
It might be, but it's weird though. It's like it's literally every Sunday.
on the speakerphone thing. I've noticed elderly people too.
Oh, see, I've never noticed that.
Like I've had
Well, that's
people
'cause
in
they're
my
deaf.
work like standing in there, right? But to me, it doesn't make sense. It's like you can hear the speaker better than holding the phone to your ear. You know,
I think it's
But-
because they can't line it up correctly. Like legit.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
think about it, the speaker at the top's like that big, but like when they put it to their ear, they just don't
Maybe their
put
hands
it
are
in the
shaking
right
too much.
spot.
they're muffling it against their earlobe
But
or
how do they
something.
not
Like
follow the sound?
I don't know.
Follow
dude.
the sound.
I've had people, or like they're sitting at my desk and we have to get information of someone who's not there, so they're like, "Oh, I'll call him," and then
What's your social? What? Say it louder.
it's like turned all the way up. The,
The whole
speaker is
branch
like,
hears it.
you're over there like, oh, okay, well,
Same thing. I'll have people come in, and I just want to verify that they know their password to their accounts and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm like, so you know your password, right? And they're like, it's Johnny72. I'm like, no, I don't need it. I just want to know that you know it.
we get that with PIN numbers. We're not supposed to know your PIN, and so we try and phrase it. It's like, don't tell me what it is. Like we're very like emphasized, but do you know your PIN? Yeah, it's 46. Stop. And you're like, don't say it.
That's hilarious.
Oh man.
I don't know why, but that just reminded me of the Ryan Reynolds movie, Just Friends.
I love it.
Which part?
Hello, Joyce.
Mom, get off the phone.
Can we set up?
What are you doing at Joyce's?
No, Mom. I'm in the house in the next room.
I'll call my grandpa, and he'll get on the phone. He's like, "Hey, Chris." Lucy, it's Chris. I was like, she probably just heard you say hi, Chris. And then he'll just be like,
He's like, no, I'm
"Okay,
talking to you."
Lucy, I'm talking to Chris. And like, just have a conversation with me and her at the same time. And like relay back and forth. I'm like, just put me on speakerphone. At that point.
Have you ever had somebody that, let's see, you call them, but then they say, okay, I'm going to let you go. It's like, But I started the conversation. That's my phrase to say like, all right, I didn't mean to bug you. I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
You know what I mean?
I don't think that much into it. I don't know. Probably I forget I call people most of the time. Probably. I do. I'll call people, talk to them about something. And I was like, oh, well, thanks for calling. They're like, you called me. Oh, right
Thanks for answering that.
And I bet that's probably 99% of the reason.
At least you know 3 of the 4 of us here, if you're talking to us on the phone, you know you called us.
For sure.
Dude,
Oh, 100%.
the worst
It's because I care.
is
You
when
know,
you answer
wanna hear
the
your
phone
voice.
and the person who called you is like, what do you need? And you're like, you called me. What do you mean, what do I need? You're the one who called.
I haven't had that.
My dad does that from time to time.
I need privacy is what I need.
I don't know. I need to not be on this phone call, sir.
I saw a meme one time where it was like, before you call me, stop and ask yourself, can this be sent in a text? Like,
I actually heard someone's voicemail. It was like a joke going around on Instagram, but basically it summed up was like, please don't leave a voicemail and please don't call me again. Just send me a text. And I was like, that is genius.
Like talking to people, and I like hearing the response and hearing it in their voice.
you know, I have to be honest, because I have a few friends that do like to talk on the phone more than text. and honestly,
More personal.
it's kind of nice as far as I don't like to do it, but when it happens, it's like you can catch up on months worth of stuff in just a matter of a
You can
couple
catch
minutes.
up.
It's more personal and everything. And then you're like, hey, have a
You can
good day.
do a year's worth of text in about 20 minutes.
I just think my problem is the only person I talk to on the phone is my mom, and she talks forever. And so that's where my head goes. It's like if I see someone call and I look at my phone, even if it's someone I care deeply about, I still kind of go, like, and I mean that in the nicest way.
The funniest thing
But
is,
it's
Next time we call Tony, we're all going to be thinking
I
that
love
now.
you so much.
I have been writing co-pilot in a car when I've seen Tony make that face and that when his mom calls. And then I have to listen through it too because I can hear it all.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't need to be on speakerphone for that.
It's true.
So you don't, like, when I call you up just to see how you're doing and I call you, I don't call you. I need to call you more.
You've called me once.
I did. See how you're doing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When- After I had my
I
surgery.
don't do it very often. But isn't it nice to, like...
It honestly is.
To me, it makes it feel like I'm more personal, and I really want to talk to you and
You're
see
a
how
good.
things are
You're a
going.
good old boy.
you know what's interesting?
so
It is nice.
sorry, real quick. A perfect example is the conversation Austin and I have been having lately. Probably should have been just over the phone because I'll get like 4 texts, ding, 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 from Austin, and each one is at least 4 paragraphs.
I write novels.
And
You know
and
what's
honestly,
funny?
that ran through my head. It's like, why aren't we just on the phone with each other right now? But
Because sometimes reading them is like you're able to soak it in better. Like
It's true.
Okay,
Then
yeah,
you can refer
I didn't
back to
understand it, but now reading through it a third time, okay, yeah, I get it.
it's
Or
true.
you can refer back
Yep.
to it.
Yeah.
I get
Yep.
it.
Austin likes that being able to backtrack. So that when we're like way far in a conversation, we're like, when are we meeting again? He's like, scroll up.
Hey man, I have a lot of conversations going on all day.
Yeah.
I got to keep my eggs.
We
in a
do
row.
that quite a bit in our chat. Chris just fell
Well, that's
for it
'cause-
because it's like because we did the topics that we were going to do tonight.
Yeah.
And you asked what the second one was, and if you would have just scrolled a tad bit.
It wasn't fully verified in my head.
I
when
do the
Oh,
same
okay,
thing
okay.
because sometimes I won't be able to look at it for a while, and I'll have like 30 messages from you guys, and I'm like, ugh, Cliff Notes.
Should have just called me on the
So I just get to the bottom. I'm like, when are we meeting? Like, go back. I'm like, no, I did this to not have to go back.
But then you're being the inconvenience.
That's like me at work. Sometimes I'll ask people who know the answer when it's like we have procedures and things I can look through to find the answer, but it's just easier to turn and ask a coworker.
But that too, I said final verification because sometimes it'll switch. Sometimes
true.
all this
That's
stuff
true.
is
He
twisted
did say
around.
that.
One-
Final verification. What are we doing?
So Cam, that's all you need to do. Just instead of like catching up and just say, "Hey,
Just
final
to make sure
verification."
you guys are all on the same page. What time do you want to meet?
Now, I
Good
do
job,
have-
guys. You got it.
I have an interesting like aha moment. I remember back when texting started and I hated texting. And I'd be like, why are you texting me?
Because
Just
it took a day and a half
It
to
did.
write one
Just call
sentence.
me.
And you only had so many.
I stayed in that
You had a
zone.
handful.
It's like, man, we could literally have this entire conversation in 2 minutes rather than over the course of an hour.
Yeah, that's still my thought.
But now
Actually, I read a meme on that the other day, and it said, "I blew my kids' minds away. I told them back when I was their age, I had to pay 10 cents per text."
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
like
accidentally
250,
sending a text and be like,
500.
shit! My mom's gonna kill me.
Well, that's also why I would get mad at some people sometimes because them sending you a text counted against you.
Yeah, that was the biggest
So
chip
you're
in
like,
the
shut
world.
up, stop talking, call me.
You get.
I only got 4 of these left.
I remember signing up. You had like 200 texts.
Yep.
Oh, do you remember the minutes too? Even talking on
Oh,
the
yeah.
phone. How
Luckily, I didn't burn through minutes very well.
The best part was with that is when you call someone up and they'd be like, "Hey, after 9 o'clock, call me." Click.
Or they had to be part of your My Faves.
Yep.
Remember
The
that?
My
Yeah.
Faves,
Your
yeah.
5 that you could talk to unlimited.
my five, like, oh,
I
man.
remember-
I do remember
Oh,
nights
man.
and weekends and
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
all
yeah.
the commercials for like rollover minutes.
Oh my gosh.
The I remember
Kids
back
got it
when
easy.
texting got huge, and I remember looking at the big old long because they used to send you like an itemized report of all the stuff that happened, and it's like my sister went through like 2,000 texts in a month. And I was like, 2,000.
Dude, I was at that. I was like 2,000 to
Back
3,000.
when I was in high school,
Yeah.
I was like, who are you messaging that often? That's crazy.
When I finally had unlimited, oh yeah, it just
Burned
the
through it.
chain. Oh yeah.
Could you imagine if they still gave those reports now?
Oh my god.
You probably can
You
find
don't.
it.
No, they
Honey, they didn't give me my internet history. I don't know why.
T-Mobile
Look, it
does.
says page 1 of 10, 2 of 10, and then
My
it skips
computer's-
to 8 of 10. I don't.
It's always in private. I don't get it. Incognito mode.
Whoa, is that a thing?
Yes.
That's when I look up Christmas presents. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, me too.
Looking up.
yeah. T-Mobile actually does that.
Does what?
When you go into your account info, it actually tells you how many people or how many texts
stats.
you've sent.
Oh, dang.
It tells you your stats, how many minutes you've used, and how many texts you've sent. And there's one time because I was on a account with it was me and my brother and his wife and Kara, and me and my brother got on to look at it because we were. I think that's when we were still under the 1,000 minutes or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And so we were just looking at it to see what was going on, and we had unlimited text, and it was like me at 250, and my brother was at like 100, and his wife was at maybe 300, and then it was like Kara 1,500. And he's like, "What is she doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
She doesn't even
That's
have
all
any.
she does.
She sends 30 texts to my one.
That's actually
joke.
it. That's it.
She gets so mad at me because she'll send me all these texts,
Ding, 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 ding.
and
What?
then I reply back one. Yep.
I'm gonna stop texting all of you.
Just call me. I'd love to hear from you.
Anyway.
You know, we've talked about it in a previous episode, just kind of on the whole calling and stuff. We've talked about stopping by and just visiting, like out of the blue, because that's not a
That's
thing
the
anymore
best.
either. Right? You have to make sure they're home and you text them when you're in the driveway. No one actually goes up to the door anymore. I really do want to try and start doing that. Just randomly swinging by and just, hey.
Do it.
Make sure that the person still lives there too.
Uh-oh.
I feel like
There's a story.
Yeah. So me and Kara were sitting at home. We can knock on the door. I answer the door, and this guy starts like trying to walk in the door. He's like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know you." And he's like, "Yeah, we're so and so." And I was like, "Who's that?"
Oh, dear.
And he stops, and he kind of like he dawns on him, and he's like, "Wait, doesn't so and so live here?" And I'm like, "Oh no, that's the previous owner." I was like, "They moved," and he's
Years
like,
ago.
and he was just like, "When did they move?" And I was like, "Honestly, I've lived here like for over a year now." And he's
Oh,
like,
man.
"No," and I'm like, "Yeah, they've moved, man." And he's like, "I'm so sorry." And he got like all like weird, and he's like,
Didn't
I'm
he-
gonna leave now." And he took off.
Didn't it dawn on him when you answered the door?
He thought I was a son or a friend or I don't know.
Was he an older dude?
Yeah.
Like how old?
Nah, like my dad's age. Like
You
not
should have thrown
old.
them through a ringer and be like, yeah, man, they died.
In fact, I killed him.
Sorry, man. Yeah, man. They like passed away in a car accident like years ago.
It was
Wow.
weird.
They're buried in the bag. You want to go say hi?
You should have been like, who sent you? Like, get all serious.
How do you know?
Pull him in, put him against the wall, shut the door, look out the whip people.
He wasn't supposed to have any affiliates.
Did you bring the lotion? Whoa, the lotion in the basket.
Or gets the hose again.
Welcome to the party.
Oh goodness
That's
gracious!
awesome.
Well, that little called conversation turned into a 35-minute whole thing about calls.
That's what happens.
Hey.
Is there any updates on life? Man, I feel like I don't know anything that's going on in your lives right now.
I got a big one.
What?
My baby was born.
What?
Yeah. October 12th. We had Reginald Travis Campbell. Call him Reggie.
So what happened to the Jack?
Who the F is Reggie?
Yeah, what happened to Jack?
Who the F is Reggie?
I'm here to date your daughter.
You look at least 35.
How old are you? 15. Shit, you at least 30.
That's what he said. You at least 30.
Yeah, no, it was great. We were scheduled for a cesarean at 6 p.m., but instead her water breaks and we had him at 6 a.m. Same day.
Nice.
Scary stuff though. So baby was great. Everything went well with that. He's been fantastic. But scary thing was so we had him on a Tuesday, came home on a Thursday, and then that Thursday night, Jenny, my wife, started complaining of really bad abdominal pains. And to the point where we were like, hey, we need to get you back to the hospital. So we called an ambulance, had her go back, and they did a CAT scan on her, and she had internal bleeding going into her abdomen. And so they had to do kind of an emergency surgery where they block, it was an artery in her abdomen. They had to block it off with this stuff that over time will dissolve and let the blood flow again. But they blocked the artery, they fixed the wall of it, and then they have to put this tube in her to drain the blood that did leak into her body. And she wore that tube for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. But we were in the hospital for about a week, and it was scary, rough times. But everybody's on the mend. We're doing good. I've been out of work for a while. So I took work off on I had like the 13th of October and then like 2 weeks past that to be home with Reggie and everybody. And then this happened, the internal bleeding thing. So I asked for more time off. And then as I got close to going back to work, then people in the household got COVID. So then I had to quarantine for that. And so I am set to go back to work on the 17th of November. So I'll have been off work for over a month.
Wow.
You're going to go back and need a refresher.
Oh, no joke.
Oh, while you were gone, we got a whole new system.
We don't use money anymore. It's Bitcoin.
Right? That's what I'm waiting for. Walk in. Where's the tellers? Oh, we don't
It's over
have
there
those
next to the
anymore.
Shiba Inu coins.
So that's my biggest update.
By the way, I heard about your little ambulance ride, and that was pretty much a joke from what I understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to get too personal, and I apologize, Jenny, if you don't want me saying this, but by the time this happened, she still hadn't passed a stool, which is normal in pregnancy and after surgery and stuff. So, but anyway, the paramedic assumed that that's what the pain was that she was feeling. And so he was the only one riding in the ambulance with her. He didn't do vitals on her. He didn't do anything. He just assumed they were going to take her to the hospital so she could get an enema and then everything would be okay.
So it was a $4,000 Uber, huh?
Basically. They didn't even go
to a public bathroom.
They didn't even put the
They
lights
didn't,
on,
yeah,
right?
no lights and sirens, no nothing. I beat them to the hospital. Yep. Because I drove separate so I could have Reggie in the car with me because we were still trying to breastfeed and keep him going. So I brought him to the hospital and they didn't even go lights and sirens. I ended up beating them there. And even like the nurse and the doctor in the ER room, they were good. As like he came in, he did a quick assessment, and from the assessment, his hunch was internal bleeding. And so he's like, I'm going to schedule a CAT scan. We're going to get you in. Well, then it like took forever. And so he had to call him again. And he was like, hey, I need patient 12, like top of the list. We need to get her in now. And like everybody was dragging their feet. And when the guy came in to finally do the CAT scan, he's going over bumps and stuff all hard. And literally the slightest touch, I mean, like the touch of a feather hurt her. She was in so much pain. I've never seen her cry out in agony like that. It was terrible. And I didn't get to go back to the room when they went, but she was telling me that when they got back there, she had to change beds so he could do the scan. And he's like, all right, I need you over here. And she's like, I can't move. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do about it?
Help me.
And she's like, well, can you like help me? And so he like grabs her sheets and just drags her across. And then same thing going back over to the gurney and stuff. And I mean, just a joke. And yeah, I don't know.
There's got to be something you can do like that. Like, why should you have to pay for that ambulance ride?
The other hard thing was too is so we live in well, I'm not going to say where we live, but the city where we live, their like fire truck showed up first because their ambulance was already out on a call. And so the fire truck showed up first because they are still paramedics and can come in and do a quick assessment. So they came in absolute wonders. Those guys deserve.
Your firemen are dope.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
They were awesome. And then when the next city's ambulance showed up, those were the guys that were a joke.
Like what the like?
And
There's
so-
seriously like. I mean, I'm not one who thinks the answer to everything is suing like a lot of people, but like that something should be done. There should be some way to be like, hey, what was this? Like, we got to the hospital, we found out she was internally bleeding. You guys drove slow, didn't use your lights, and didn't even check her.
Yeah.
Like, why would I pay for that?
Yeah. And that's what pisses me off the most is that you actually beat them there.
Six Zach on
It's
him.
like you could have
Zach,
just...
go get him.
I mean, I'm not saying I beat him by much, but I shouldn't have beat him at all.
No.
Then you would have just driven her.
Exactly.
Right.
Then you would have just driven her yourself.
And the only reason we called the ambulance was because of how much pain she was in. Me and her dad didn't trust ourselves to carry her down the stairs and out to the car and everything. And,
Cause further injury. Or something
right,
like
exactly.
That.
And so I don't know. It was ridiculous.
I
mean,
hope I never
had
have
she
to experience something like that.
like worst case scenario, especially now knowing it was internal bleeding. It's like, who's to say this wasn't going on for a while? And what if she died en route all
Yeah.
because they thought it was constipation?
Yeah.
Like,
I'd
I
be
don't know.
bitching up a storm. I really
yeah.
would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should.
But,
Yeah, that's garbage.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
Heck yeah. I mean, if you're not turning your lights on, I'm not paying for that ride.
That's honestly how it should be, right?
Exactly. Like, there's no point in you then. Yeah, you're legit just an Uber,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
like meaner. Like, at least the Uber guy would probably be like, "Do you need some alcohol?
And like 30 times
do you
more
want some
expensive.
gum?
Do you want to?
What kind of
Special
music do you
brownies?
want?
You look like you're in pain. You want some brownies?
I got you. Here you go. Have one of these. Any other updates?
Oh God,
Zach, I need to know, is there any update on the dog situation? Did we ever talk about that?
Oh yeah, the dog bit the lady, freaking out.
I think we did talk about it in one.
Yeah.
They were gonna sue you, did they?
No. I mean, I ended up having to pay for all their medical bills, which I
How
had
much
to,
was that?
and fees and fines and stuff. I ended up having to pay $200.
Oh, it's
not
not
bad.
bad. Not
No.
bad. Okay.
Bunch of pansies.
But it's all said and done and over with.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. The funny thing is actually they were waiting on the emergency bill because they went to the emergency room after they were told not to go to the emergency room and to just wait until, because this happened on a Saturday. They were like, just wait until Monday, go see your normal doctor. You know, the only
Put a
reason they
Band-Aid.
mentioned to go see a doctor is just to make sure it wasn't infected or anything like that, just to get the wound checked up on, make sure there was no infection or anything.
Which was like a nibble.
Yeah. So they still went to the emergency room.
Jeez.
And then apparently my dog, he had scratched the other girl, like I guess their daughter, like a younger girl. He had just scratched her back leg. Well, don't worry. They went to the emergency room for her as well. And
Assuming all this was going to be paid by you.
yes. And the funny thing is they waited too long to submit the bill. When I had my court date, I went in and I talked to the judge and At first, I had went and talked to the city council, and I just said, what can we do? Let's just settle it here. And we settled it. And he goes, looks like we're still waiting on an ER bill. He's like, they've had 3 months to get it to us. He's like, I'm just going to tack on an extra $20. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, and we'll just call it good. And I said, so here's the thing. I said, if the ER bill comes back and it's $500, and he's like, they'll have to sue you. He's like, they can come after you. He's like, but they'll have to take you to small claims court at that point. He's like, everything's said and done as far as the city
Judge
goes.
Judy.
Yep. He's like, everything's said and done as far as we go. He's like, well, this is final case closed. He's like, they're not getting anything else out of this.
That's awesome. Good.
So I was like, good, great.
Good.
Grand,
Good.
It's on
wonderful. No yelling on the bus. Sorry.
Is that Billy Madison?
Yeah.
Okay. Chris Farley,
Great,
right?
grand, wonderful.
Any other news?
No.
I know Jess and I are officially on the market for a new house.
Nice.
Yeah. See how that goes.
You just paid off your house
Yeah.
and you're going to go back into a mortgage?
Yeah.
All right.
Party
Fair
on,
enough.
Wayne.
Party on.
See, this house ain't making me money now. Now I need it to make me money. Every day I'm in it, I'm losing money that I'm not making. So now I need to make more money.
How do you honest question, how do you figure that this house is losing money but moving into another house will make you money?
Because this house could make me more money.
Oh, I follow.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's not making them money,
keep-
but it's,
he not
it's an
sell
asset.
the house.
It's an asset.
Rent this out.
You keep the house. Someone else comes in and pays him to live here.
Is
I
that what
wouldn't
you've
be a
decided to
landlord.
do?
No, we'll actually probably end up selling it, to be honest.
I couldn't be a landlord.
You don't have to be.
You can hire
You can
management.
hire a management.
Yeah, but they
Yeah,
take
but then
like
you gotta pay them
20%.
and
That means you get 80%,
Yeah.
still,
which you would get 0% of the house is gone.
I'd rather have
But
100%.
management, they cover.
No, that doesn't make sense.
They manage all the problems that happen.
yeah,
They
you
take care-
don't. You
they
just
take the headache away.
collect money
It's 20% to take the headache away from renting out your house.
Yeah.
and
I don't
making
know.
80%.
We'll see. We'll see.
That's
I don't
like,
know.
that's like those people who like hear about lottery winners. They just won like $350 million. Yeah, but do you know the taxes they're going to pay on that? Who cares? Like, you're so real.
Who cares about the taxes? You're still going to be a millionaire. Multiple millions.
Yeah. Crazy.
Make it back in investments.
I don't know. I'm excited though. This house is definitely it's feeling snug.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
Micah's getting tall, man. Dog's big. Paige is getting big. It's like I'm just,
And you guys are having another baby?
no,
Oh.
not yet. Not yet. We gotta wait till we're in the next house. That's the.
So-
I'm gonna
so
hit it
there
like
you
a
go.
battering ram.
They're just not touching each other because we
gonna
all
help.
know Austin.
They're very fertile.
Surprisingly, I don't get it. Anyway,
He was just in the. Never mind.
hold on. What?
I was gonna quote a Rodney Carrington. He's where he's like, "I was in the bathroom cleaning it, went off in my hand."
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Any other updates? Cam, Chris?
What about from this side of the
It's been
table?
6 weeks, man.
Yeah.
Nothing.
We survived COVID.
Oh yeah, that too.
The family survived
COVID survivor.
Had to take Lisa to the hospital though.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna
Didn't know
ask you
that.
about like what was the details on that? How
We
come?
had a shit show at the hospital too. So we go to the hospital. She's got a cough. She's not doing good. She's got a high fever. She's like, we're like, okay, it's probably COVID, but you know, she says her kidneys are hurting, so it might be a kidney infection. We tell them everything that's going on. They proceed to do everything but give her a COVID test. So they give her
Which
an
is
MRI.
weird because the first thing they usually do is give a COVID test.
On her sheet, it says, "Do not administer COVID test."
Yeah, you
from
want-
the first doctor. They were switching doctors. The doctor was at the end of his at the end of his shift, and they get the new doctor, and he's like, "It says not to do a COVID test, or
Were they
not do a." It says, "What's the word when you
administer?
Don't administer.
yeah, administer, but when you prolong it, when you don't do it right off the bat." I still got COVID brain. I do. It's a real thing.
It is
the
a real
fog.
thing. Kara's going through it
Is she?
majorly. Oh yeah.
Huh.
Is she?
When it says to do it at the very end or whatever. So they give her an MRI. They do all these testing on her.
So it sounds like they were trying to like.
What's going on, guys?
I thought I could keep composure, and I can't.
Sorry.
It's Tony's comment about Kara is what's going on.
I missed it.
It's all right.
So
She probably did
Sounds
too.
like they were trying to like milk you out of
they're
everything.
milking the cow, yeah.
No, we both missed that one. I'm trying to stay in your conversation
I
here.
appreciate it, Tony.
I'm sorry. I had to.
I'm like upset because I feel like I'm missing out on good stuff
It
here.
was a good joke.
Was it?
We'll tell you after.
All right. Sounds good.
My poor wife.
Just know it's all in good fun.
All these weeks that we've missed, it's just like
We
built
got
up.
jokes on jokes piled up.
But so they do all these other tests, and they're like, and he's like, well, they didn't do a COVID test. Well, we'll go ahead and do that after they've raked $8,000 worth of testing on her,
So dumb.
and then end up doing it. Oh yeah, she has COVID, so you should go home and get some rest.
Oh,
Like what the?
no.
Are you serious?
So dumb.
So there you go. All the tests they did before shouldn't count, and you shouldn't have to pay for it.
I'm writing.
You know,
I'm
A
writing something about
stern
that.
email.
No,
actually-
I'm writing how I'm going to talk to him because I've got to where my brain's not putting things together.
I actually did that once. We took one of my daughters in. She was sick. We didn't know what was going on. This was years ago. We took her in, and her doctor wasn't there, so we had to take her into Instacare. Mm-hmm. Instacare doctor looked at her, did some tests, and he goes, "She's sick." And I said, "Well, no, doc."
Don't say.
And he's like, and I was
Weird.
like, I was like,
that your
okay.
diagnosis?
Doc.
Professional diagnosis there, huh?
And I'd asked him, I said, okay, what's going on? He goes, I don't know what's going on with her. He goes, here's some antibiotics. Take it for a couple days. And if she still feels this way, bring her back in a couple days to see her normal doctor.
That's why they call it a practice.
If antibiotics are their
practice all the
solution
time.
for everything, why can't we just get a generic one I can buy at Walmart?
Right.
I'll diagnose
Well,
myself and take
they
antibiotics.
don't make money.
a couple days later, she's still sick. So we made an appointment to go see her actual doctor. We get in and I start talking to him and I'm like, man, I'm a little upset. I said, because copays, I mean, I had to pay copay. It was like $35. So I had to pay copay that time. And then I had to pay a copay 2 days later to go back to see him. And I was like, I paid a copay. And all he did was tell me is, yep, she's sick. Go home and take some rest. And my doctor looked at me and he goes, who was it? And I told him, he goes, I hate that guy. And he's like, legit. He's like, if you ever come into Instacare and he's there, I'm going to tell you to
Turn
walk
around
away.
and walk away.
And he's like, what I'm going to do for you today. And he's like, I will get the money somehow. Go back and tell my nurse to get your copay back. And I was like, are you being serious? He goes, yes, go get your copay back. I will get the 35 from him somehow. And I was like, okay.
See,
Appreciate that.
on
That's
mine,
good. That's
At the
nice.
end of this, I'm getting all the info from you guys on where not to go. Because I've had great experiences every
Yeah,
time I've
my
gone to the
doc's
doctors.
not bad. He's pretty good. He's a good doctor.
so I mean, my family doctor and my
Family doctors are
pediatrician-
great.
pediatrician, right?
oh, dude, my
he's great
pediatrician's
too.
a stud.
Yeah, mine is as well. But there was a joke. And I mean, I got to foot the whole bill because I'm on a catastrophic plan. So that's all coming from me. And I'm going to have a talk with them. I'm going to be like, this is what. But the thing is they can come back and say this to me. Well, it still could have been a kidney infection. So we still want to cross our T's and dot our I's on
But
it.
here's the thing is,
It's dumb.
you could have walked into a hospital last year missing an arm, bleeding from the stump, and they'd be like, let's give you a COVID test first.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. All the jokes
But
that
I'm-
were
but
going
it's-
around.
It's my arm that's missing. Oh, COVID.
I just got more pissed off. So here's the other thing that happened. The nurses were treating my wife like garbage, like openly talking with each other back and forth. Oh, now we got to sterilize the room that shouldn't have had to been sterilized. This isn't the COVID room. Like at my wife, like she's the problem when we told them what was going on when we walked into that emergency room.
Dude, here's the thing is like, I mean, we all know the crap show that has been the last 2 years with COVID and all that stuff. And like, they're legit like furloughing tons of doctors and nurses because they can't do just regular stuff because of all the COVID crap.
Right.
Like I have a friend whose wife might be furloughed and they don't know till when. You know, like it's ridiculous. They act like we're inundated with COVID patients in the hospitals, but they're furloughing all these people, and so everyone else, which just sucks. Who knows? Maybe they were just a couple snitches. I don't know, but they could also have the pressure of there's no other
And I
nurses
get
in the
that,
whole hospital.
But don't put that on my wife.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I
So-
feel
Yeah.
like in that industry, I feel like bedside manner is underrated.
It's going away.
Well, here's the deal too: is I know plenty of people in the medical field, and they say they are worked to death. They're understaffed as it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I bet. 100%.
Well, and the other problem is like be more transparent. I should have an itemized list why everything costs everything.
well, they don't want you to see the $800 Tylenol.
No, that's
they gave
exactly
you.
what I'm saying though. Is that's the problem with our medical infrastructure? Is like it's not that I need someone else to pay for it, but I want to know what I'm paying for,
Yeah.
I don't want to get the bill afterward.
and I want to be able to be like, no,
Yeah.
I don't. I have some ibuprofen in the car. Get that out of here.
I
I don't need yours.
I'll self-medicate.
Legitimately, Jenny tried to do that when we were in the hospital. So she was on those blood thinner shots. And after the procedure was done and everything, and she was ready to start those back up, we asked.
Shit, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, we asked. We're like, well, she's got shots from her previous prescription. Can she just do those? And the nurse was like, no, unfortunately, you have to take the hospostals.
So
We're
what
like,
if you
so they
can't
charge you
see
money.
me
Why?
when I do
Well,
it?
we asked why, and they said because they can't confirm or
Bullcrap.
whatever the dose and everything.
Here's
So-
the thing: no matter what you answer, our answer is bullcrap.
Yeah.
So what caused the internal bleeding? Was it from the procedure or was it from childbirth?
So,
Or what did they tell you?
well, we were told a couple different things. So, the bottom line is they don't know. But because the guy who did the
don't want to get
procedure,
sued for malpractice.
well, the guy who did the procedure for the what's it called? For the
Cesarean.
artery, like the guy who stopped the bleeding, he was saying, he's like, it could have been caused, the fact that she just had a cesarean, he's like, these things get nicked. He said it could have been something where they like clamped it off during the procedure, and then when they unclamped it, maybe the pressure ruptured it, something. He said, so it's hard to tell. Well, then her OB came in later to check up on her, and he claims, which I mean, we have no reason not to doubt him or not to trust him. He was a good doctor, but he claims he was nowhere near that artery during the procedure. So his theory was that it was the blood thinners, that they maybe got her going on those too soon. And so for some reason that caused the leak, but
How would blood thinners like put a hole in her artery though?
again, just pressure. I don't know.
Allows more blood to go
Yeah,
through.
makes
I don't
sense.
know.
I don't know. So that was something once,
That is scary.
because then for the whole time we were in the hospital, she wasn't on any blood thinners because obviously at this point they want her to clot, but they didn't want her to clot too much. So before we could be sent home, they had to call in a specialist to find out what to do as far as it's like, okay, she's potential to clots, but she's also just had internal bleeding. So what do we do? And so they put her on like a preventative dose. And so she was on, like during the pregnancy, she was on like 14 milligrams of this blood thinner a day, and they cut her down to just 4 milligrams a day. So she's on enough that it's like a preventative dose, but not enough that like her blood still can coagulate if needed.
Dang.
It's always been wild to me that like you can internally bleed.
Yeah.
Like growing up,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we're just
We're just filled
blood
with
sacks.
blood.
Like I'm a whole just soupy blood
You can
sack.
cut me anywhere and I'm going to
and
bleed.
blood's gonna come out, so there's just blood in there.
Yeah, it is weird that you can get cut and not bleed.
Yeah.
It's wild. It still doesn't fully make sense in my head.
Speaking of blood and kind of like your Instacare doctor, Jenny's hematologist that she's been seeing, he's a joke.
You guys need to get a new hematologist. For
Well, luckily
sure.
she only has to
Joker.
see him one more time. He wants to see
Luckily.
her. Yeah.
One time is too many times.
Right. Well, that's what's hard is so she sees him the one time. It was ridiculous, but she was like, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll see him one more time. The second time
Benefit
seeing
of the
him.
doubt. He went to school for 8 years.
Right. Well, I mean, because it was more
At least.
it was the bedside manner that was the first time thing, because he just kind of came in and he didn't even know she was pregnant. Like, he didn't know anything. He didn't draw her blood, anything. Like, it's as if we had to run the conversation. Mm-hmm. And then the second time he was actually really good. And so we're like, okay, maybe the first time was just a fluke. Then the third time, I can't remember. Oh, I think the third time was the time. So she saw her OB, and the two were going to talk, the hematologist and the OB, to talk about what kind of dose that she needs to be on at the 36-week mark, because that's when she's close enough to the procedure. They need to start kind of weaning her off of it so that they can do the procedure. And all he kept telling her was like, yep, me and him have a plan. She's like, great, what is it? And he's like, it's a good plan. Yeah, me and him have a plan.
Super good.
He actually said, he's like,
good plan.
You just
he
don't
actually
even
was
know.
like, yeah, if my wife was in your situation, I'd be happy with the plan. It's a good plan. She's like, great, what is it?
It's a piece of cake.
And
piece of crumb cake.
Like, he wouldn't
piece of crumb
say
cake.
anything. He's like, I can give you paperwork on, like, and it was just, all she was trying to ask is like, what happens if I go into labor right now and I just took a shot this morning? What do we do? Like that. And he's like, oh, yeah, we got a plan for that.
This is going to be
Great.
the best plans of plans that have ever been planned.
It's huge.
It's got
All the plans see our plans, and they're like, that's a good plan.
It's gonna be huge.
Well, then like the following day she saw her OB and he was like, well, it's no secret. I don't know why he wasn't telling you. And then he just
Because he didn't
said,
know
Laid
the
it out.
answer.
He didn't know the plan.
No.
He was
knew he
scooting
was taking
around.
credit for the OB.
Yeah.
That's
He
it
didn't know the plan.
exactly. Well, then after the whole internal bleeding, they told her, they're like, get in touch with your hematologist just to fill him in on everything that's going on. And she's like, okay. And then we walked away and she's like, I'm not calling him. so to this day, he doesn't know everything that went on. And
Oh my gosh.
but
Legit, I need a list of all these doctors. I'm staying way the heck
kidding.
away from all of them.
So this actually all this hospital talk. Tony knows about this one already. I haven't told you guys what happened to me. So yeah, my surgery
Yeah, your
back in
cancer?
March, my cancer, all that stuff. So what is it? End of July, 1st of August, I get a bill from the hospital
Yeah.
for $14,000. And I was like, no, this has got to be a
I'd have cut it out cheaper.
well.
Half price.
So
Wouldn't look near as good though.
Hey, you don't know that.
I call the hospital and I'm like, hey, or no, I called the hospital. I'm like, what's going on? I just got this bill. And they're like, oh, it looks like your insurance denied it. So you need to call your insurance. And I'm like, okay. So I call my insurance and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then they were like, oh, it looks like it's out of network. And I'm like, no. So I talked to this lady. She's like, okay. So she figures out some stuff and she's like, we're going to send it back down to the underwriters and stuff. Comes back and she's like, nope, sorry, they're claiming on out of network. And so I call the hospital and I'm like, what can you guys do? And the hospital basically gave me the middle finger. And they were like, it's not our problem.
Does it start with a D?
It starts with a
M.
M.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The big one here in Ogden. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sued.
I was confused. I was like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah. Anyways, so, and they basically gave me the middle finger and they're like, it's not our problem. It's between you and your insurance. And I'm like, you guys can't do anything for me. There's nothing we can do, work out and stuff. And they said, the best we could do, because you're an out of network person, we'll set you up on a payment plan. And I said, great, I'll give you $50 a month. And they go, no, you're going to give us $300 a month at a 5% interest rate for 5 years. And I said, no, we're not going to do that. And they're like, sorry, that's the best we'll do for you. And so I called my insurance again and I'm like, listen, $14,000. I was like, you guys got to do something. And they were like, well, did you ever call to ask if it was out of network? And I said, here's the thing. The hospital called me 3 different times to set up the surgery. The doctor who works out of that hospital, he is covered under my insurance. He only does his surgical work at that hospital. That hospital is considered out of network. I had told them, I said, the hospital called me 3 different times to verify everything, set up everything, like, what's your insurance? And each time the hospital said, okay, you're set to go. And I said, insurance, everything's good. And they're like, yep, you're good. 100%. I said, okay. And she's like, all right, well, we'll call the hospital. And then they come back with all this lingo to me. Okay, well, the hospital needs to do this and this and this. And you need to call them and tell them to do this and this and this. And then we can switch this over and then they can be put into network and we can get this going. And I said, number one, I don't know what you just said.
Dude, that's why
was
I
like,
pay you.
Yeah,
This is
and
your job.
I said, two, I said, can you call them and figure it out together? And she's like, well, let me do this and this. And they came back a second time and again, denied it. And then the third time I was like, listen, what can we do? And this girl was actually really cool. And she goes, well, there's a lot of times where we pay out for unexpected out of networks. I'm like, great, let's do it. She's like, they won't pay it because my insurance right now covers, because I've hit my deductible, it's 90/10. She's like, they won't cover 90/10. It might be 60/40, something like that. And I said, that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And she comes back after that time and she goes, hey, I apologize. Underwriting came back and they denied it a third time. And they said that we cannot submit this again. They've denied it 3 times and they told us that we cannot submit it again. And
So
I
you're
said,
footed the entire bill?
and I said, so there's nothing we can do. And she goes, unfortunately, you need to work out with the hospital. And I said, well, the hospital gave me the middle finger and told me it's not their problem. She goes, unfortunately, it's not our problem at this point either.
Jeez.
So $14,000 later, I paid the bill.
Oh my gosh,
I
man.
had to drop $14,000 on my entire bill.
That's so frustrating that you literally pay for insurance.
Yep.
And the insurance is just like,
Oh,
screw you guys.
Here's the kicker. My out-of-network max out-of-pocket is $8,000.
What?
I said, okay, great. So I'm only paying 8 and you guys are paying the rest? Well, with how they footed the bill and how they wrote everything and this and
gosh.
that, only 4,000 of it is covered under max out of pocket. So you're only reaching 4,000 of your 8,000.
Oh.
And
You
I said,
should have
I
threatened
said, so
taking them to court.
Well, I told him, I said, so wait, the hospital has $10,000 worth of stuff that you guys can't cover. And they were like, well, yeah, we can't include it in the max out of pocket. And I said, okay. I said, well, now this is a crime. I said, you guys are legit just jipping me. And she's like,
Not jipping, they're robbing
and
you.
she's like, I couldn't get mad at her because she's like, this is,
Her hands are tied.
yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
I can't do anything. This is how we do it.
Man.
So
All of our friends that are overseas are literally laughing at us because they all have universal health care. They're like, what are you guys even talking about? Guys, we don't even know what we're talking about. We don't know what's up with our healthcare system.
No clue
Health
what's going on.
insurance
Just
is all over the
All
place.
That's what I'm
say
saying
is-
is like, I feel like the reason it sucks so bad is because they can get away with charging us for stuff that we don't know
Yeah.
or understand, and they don't tell us.
Yep. And then you fight for 2 or 3 months and it comes back.
They
and
literally
you,
want you to just tire out and stop
and that's
fighting.
pretty much what happened with me. I fought it for 2 or 3 months and I just got tired of it. And
I found with my insurance, so you said you're on a 90/10 plan. I've been on a 70/30 plan and have found I've paid less than when I was on an 80/20 plan because of the monthly premium. It's like for a family plan, it's so much cheaper to go with the 70/30 plan that the odds of using the insurance is less, and so I'm saving more on those paychecks than if I was on the 80/20 plan and had to pay the extra 10%.
see, but this is the only option I get though.
Yeah,
we don't
some
have
companies don't let you.
have a multi-tiered option. It's set deductible and then after that it's covered 90
Step it up,
And
Red
it
Bull.
really depends on, to your point, it depends on how much you go to the hospital.
Right.
Yeah.
Which,
all
because if you can gamble it,
frustrating.
you're going to save money doing the higher
Yeah.
deductible,
Well,
lower
and even
monthly.
like the little side notes as far as like max out of pocket per individual, per family, blah, blah, blah.
Per year.
Those numbers are relatively the same between the 80/20 and the 70/30. So again, it's
we got that healthcare plan, like the nationwide healthcare plan, and the only people winning from that is the doctors and insurance up from what they
jeez.
did.
So
course.
can I blow your mind real quick?
blow it.
Gonna blow it real hard. So
Ready?
this does include Kara's surgery with her boobs. But medical this year alone, I have paid out of my pocket. You ready for this number?
Be gentle.
$28,000
Oh my gosh.
Gosh,
in medical expenses.
Jeez.
Guess what? I still have not hit my max out of pocket.
holy hell!
This is what's
Who's
wrong
your
with-
insurance
Oh
through?
my gosh.
It's through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I don't
They
care
are
if we
garbage.
get sued.
I just don't want to get sued.
We're not going to get sued. They suck.
They're too busy denying
I
people
thought Blue
deductibles.
Cross was supposed to be one of the good ones.
This
Nope.
one, I have yet to hit my max out of pocket. I've hit my deductible, of course. So that's why I'm at 90/10. And that's the reason I had this surgery, because I'd already hit my deductible. And I thought, well, crap.
Well, that and you don't want to die. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
well,
that's a good reason to get a surgery.
It'd be
The
cheaper if I died.
funny thing is, I would have never got this checked if I didn't hit my deductible, and then I would have never had to pay out the $14,000.
Everything
I might be
happens for a
dead right
reason.
now, but I would have had to pay out the $14,000.
Oh my gosh, dude, that our healthcare system is so broken. Real quick story. I'm gonna give you all the cliff notes. When we had Paige, we have our own healthcare because we're self-employed,
Yeah.
and I went there and was like, "Hey, we're gonna be paying this out of pocket. Can you give me a like what it'll cost us if I pay for it with cash?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Yeah, here's your global payments." Had everything listed. That was only like half the bill. It was only like half of it. It was like global means everything. Oh, no. That's only for the doctor. That doesn't include any of the hospital.
That's not the
bills.
universal. That's just global.
Dude, that's the other thing that
like-
blows my mind. Like, to me, doctors and hospitals should be one thing, but they're not.
No.
They're,
Oh, you've got
your doctor's like, no, I do surgeries here. I come here. I'm like, what?
you got
what?
doctor,
But-
anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they're
it's-
independent. You get an independent
true.
doctor.
It's just a broken system.
It
It
is.
is.
Like
They
you
make
go
it-
into Jiffy Lube,
Yeah.
your guy that's changing your oil works
I
there.
agree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how it should be. When you go into a hospital, it should just be one conglomerate.
That's what I fought with my insurance. I said, my doctor, who I went and saw, he's covered. I said, but he only does his surgery out of this hospital.
So does he
Yeah.
just
And the
borrow the
hospital isn't
hospital
covered?
stuff?
Who knows? Dude?
Well, and I
that's
was just
it.
like, it makes no sense. And
It's a system set up to screw you over.
You should have been like,
You're paying into it, and they're going to screw you over.
I'm using
That's
that
how it is.
$14,000. I'm using that $14,000 to come after you guys. Is what I would have done.
Yeah.
With something like that.
well,
Anyway,
I mean,
jeez.
luckily, me and Kara had gotten just this oomph to when we refinanced our house to use the money to pay off our brand new truck.
Yeah.
And we didn't, I was like, great. We just got that feeling that we need to pay off the truck.
Mm-hmm.
So we did. And luckily I did, because I had to turn around and take a freaking loan off that truck again.
Wow.
If I didn't have that truck open, I wouldn't, where am I going to come up with $14,000?
Let's start a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
It's
That's
no longer
crazy.
Tony needs the money. Zach needs the
For
money.
$1 a month, you can pay for Zach's cancer.
Anyway, I hope you guys
It's
all
gone
can
and it's
see
still haunting you.
how broken the U.S. healthcare system is. It's a freaking
Whoever.
joke and a nightmare. And I hope we eventually get universal healthcare. That would be amazing.
Keep
But-
it simple, stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who you calling stupid?
But thanks so much for tuning
Oh.
in. I'm going to wrap this up because we got more podcasts to film tonight, more goodness. So stay tuned.
We ended on a kind of a low note on this one. Stay tuned for next week. I promise it's going to be fun.
Oh, yes.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Oh, we're
Oh,
keeping it.
I'm promising right now.
We're going to make you laugh so hard. Anyway,
Mic
hard.
drop.
So hard.
so
So
hard.
provocative.
thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting us. We really appreciate you. And thank you.
We're so
for being
happy to
part
be
of this
back,
crowd.
guys.
Yes.
Love
Hopefully
ya.
you're happy to
Thank
see us
Love
back.
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Ciao.
Yes.